Hi, this is Phil Lundstrom, and I figured I'd do a YouTube video about the Leopold Long Range Tactical Very 3. It's a Very X3 4.5 14 power. I got this scope, I want to say back in 2006, and I believe it's a 90s model. There isn't a whole lot of information that can be found about a scope that was made back in the 90s. I mean, I've called Leopold and asked him a few questions about it and stuff. This one is actually kind of unique in a few ways. If you want something specifically like this one, this is actually a really hard scope to find for two distinct features that it has. The first one is, well, probably both of them are the adjustments on windage and elevation. Most scopes, hunting scopes, and even a lot of tactical scopes, the minute clicks are a quarter minute. They're quarter minute clicks on the dial. Now, I say a minute because I've trained my brain to know that, because this one's actually 1 minute clicks on elevation and a half minute clicks on windage, which is left and right, of course. What I really want to stress about this scope is I've had it for a long time. It really is the real deal. The objective lens is absolutely amazing. Every single time I have it in cold weather, warm weather, it doesn't matter if it's early in the morning. I've never fogged this lens before. The ocular lens is absolutely amazing. It actually looked at this thing is really spectacular. You probably can't get anything through it, of course, through a video. Yeah, it's the magnification is really good. I can't say it's great because 14 is good, but maybe just a little bit more power. But when you're looking for something that's long range tactical and you're not trying to be seen or something like that, this is really ideal. I can see out well past 14 or 1500 yards with the scope. Of course, the targets are pretty small, but if you know what you're doing, it's definitely a thing for you. I wanted a tactical scope that I could use to hunt with, and it's definitely lightweight. It's not the heaviest scope in the world. It sits right on top of my rifle, and it sits really low, which makes it extremely accurate that way also. I've never had an experience looking at anybody else's scope that was so clear. And let me stress to you how absolutely amazingly clear the image is in this scope, and it's also a milled out reticle. So if you're considering getting the Leopold, just know that a couple features that this one has, it will be kind of hard to find. You're not going to find this at Cabela's. You're not going to find this at Bass Pro. The only place you're going to find this is if you buy it straight from Leopold, or if you find somebody on the internet and you really know what you're doing. I specifically was looking for a long-range tactical scope when I bought this, and I kind of got lucky with the 1 minute mils adjustments on my elevation and half minute on the windage. I actually didn't discover that until after I'd purchased it and I had it at home, and I was actually at the range, and I was all over the place trying to discover, like, wow, it was amazing what a few clicks on this thing would adjust in 100 yards. So 1 minute clicks means 1 inch at 100 yards. That's what this does. So one click on my windage is a half an inch at 100 yards, which is a gigantic amount of movement at 1,000 yards. Okay. So I believe 1,000 yards you're thinking about 10 inches for 1 minute. So I highly suggest this scope. They're not cheap. I want to say this one I could probably still sell this scope for a good $600 or $700. So if you're on the market for one, I give it a 10 out of 10, easy, hands down. I'm actually building another rifle this year, and I'm highly considering getting the same exact scope. I hear a lot of stuff about this Night Force and all that stuff, but since I've had such a great experience with this one, I really highly suggest it. It has made me a much better shooter. Owning this scope has actually taught me a lot, because when I first got this stuff, I didn't know really the parallax. I was just learning about the minutes and how to calculate and do the math. The magnification back here is pretty self-explanatory, but there's actually a certain point in the magnification where you put this thing and you can actually use this as a rangefinder. So there's a rangefinder built inside this scope, which is also very difficult to find. So if you're really into that kind of stuff, you want something tactical. It's got everything built in it. If you know how to do the math, it's technical. Go ahead and get the Leopold. This is Phil Lundstrom. That's the bullshit I'm talking about right fucking there. Love it. Go get you one. I'm out.